That being the case, and the hour of 7 p.m. having arrived and passed, but just barely, I call to order the legislative meeting for the Woodland Hills School Board for the month of May 2021. Ms. Hawthorne, will you call the roll?
Yes. Mr. Graves? Ms. Seligson?
Present.
Ms. Lawson?
Present.
Ms. Curry?
Here.
Mr. Belmont? Ms. Scott?
Here.
Mr. Patterson?
Present.
Dr. Hildebrand?
Here.
Mr. Belmont? Ms. Glasser?
President, I'll note for the record, Mr. Belmont appears to be on camera, and there he is unmuted. Mr. Belmont, want to state your presence? Mr. Belmont, would you acknowledge that you are present? Okay, Mr. Belmont, can you hear the meeting?
It does not appear that he can hear the meeting, Ms.
No, it does
Glasser.
not. I will check in with him by other means. Okay, we will, however, move on to the flag salute. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have no need of a moment of silence this evening. So that moves us to the acceptance of the minutes. Is there a motion to accept the minutes from the April agenda setting meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Scott,
Second.
second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions, additions, corrections to the minutes? Okay, hearing none, take the vote.
Okay, Ms. Seligson? Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Belmont?
Ms. Hawthorne, Mr. Belmont's gonna log out and try to log him back in. He's having trouble hearing us.
Okay, thank you.
Let's
Ms.
indicate.
Seligson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, motion carries. Well, I'll hold until I see the electronic votes. Apologies. Motion carries by a vote of 7 to none with 1 absent at the time of the vote. That moves us to the legislative meeting minutes. Is there a motion to accept the legislative minutes for April?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Scott. Questions, additions, or corrections to the legislative minutes? Okay, hearing none, let's take the vote.
Ms. Seligson?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson says yes.
Mr. Belmont,
I believe his technical issues may be continuing.
yeah,
Let's go ahead and mark him absent at the time of the vote.
okay.
Thank you. Motion carries by a vote of 7 to none with 1 absent at the time of the vote. The board met in executive session immediately preceding this meeting to discuss legal, school safety, and personnel matters as permitted by law. Mr. Harris, do you have announcements?
Yes, a few. Okay, I just wanted to give an update on the Woodland Hills School District Community Day. It's planned for Saturday, August 14th. Please go on our website. If you're a community provider, you want to sign up to host an activity, please go to our website. All the contact information is there. Once again, it's Saturday, August 14th. It will be held at Dixon Preparatory STEAM Academy. Want to give some recognition to some of our employees who are retiring at the end of this school year. We have Gwendolyn Bynum Ratliff over at Wilkins. She's a physical education teacher. We have Karen Marone from the high school. We have Cheryl Cole, a Wilkins first grade teacher. Beth Priori over at Dixon, a music teacher. We have 3 nurses who are leaving us. Judy Maitland at Dixon, Andrea Kennedy at the high school, and Janice Walter at Edgewood. And 2 support folks, Sharon Simchak from the high school, a paraprofessional, and Mr. Ernie Redinger. He's over at the Swissville Library. He's a custodian. I want to thank them all for their many years of service. And at the retirement party we had yesterday, we signed them all up to be subs. So they're not really leaving. I'm just joking. But we would like them to come back as subs. Last but not least, want to invite folks to the Amy Hahn Memorial at Wilkins at 5 p.m. Friday. Amy was a teacher of ours who passed away unexpectedly this year from COVID. So if you have some time and would like to join us in a small memorial at Wilkins, it's at 5 p.m. this Friday. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. I want to acknowledge both the memorial. Looking forward to paying tribute to an excellent teacher at that, and acknowledge our retirees. I was pleased to be able to join them for a few minutes yesterday to say congratulations and thank you. But we certainly wish them well and thank them for their many years of service. This is an extremely talented group of folks that we will have to now replace. And while we welcome new teachers and new staff, it's certainly hard to lose those who have been tried and true Wolverines for a long time. So thank you to all that staff as well. Any other announcements?
Jamie, can I just add a few words about the retirees as well?
Absolutely, please do.
Thanks so much. I was able to attend yesterday's event for a short period as well. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to stay after the registered speaker to personally congratulate all of our retirees. So I just wanted to extend my congratulations to all of them, and especially Nurse Walter, who took excellent care of my little girl the past 2 years and will certainly be missed. Thanks to all of you and your long years of support and work here at Woodland Hills. Thanks.
All right. And are there any other announcements from board members? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to student speakers. We were pleased to have Ms. Douglas last week, so we do not have student speakers this week, but we do have presentations, including the High School Spirit Awards. Dr. Woods, Ms. Tabb, we'll turn it over to you to recognize some outstanding students.
Get here. First, before I introduce the students, I want to give a shout out to Ms. Tabb. Ms. Tabb all year has been nominating and recognizing students of the month for going above and beyond. Tonight's 2 recipients are very special. The first one has received a full ride to Northeastern University and has been accepted to 11 other schools, garnishing $1 million worth of scholarships. if you collected all the acceptance. The other individual, Ms. Belkisu Abdullah, is going to Georgetown University. She has $50,000 in scholarship money and has been accepted to 5 schools over $500,000 worth of scholarship. So I wanted to just throw that out. And at this point, I will turn it over to Ms. Tab, who will do a proper introduction of our 2 distinguished future alumni.
Okay, well, I'd like to start off with Bill Kisu. Bill Kisu has been my student council president for the past 2 years. And she has been a phenomenal leader. I tell her all the time, like, I know she's going to go great places and reach the sky's the limit. She has single-handedly led many different volunteer and charity efforts this year. She organized our food drive, a COVID drive, and she's just that student that never forgets about Spirit Week. You know, in the middle of our pandemic and when all the kids were disconnecting, Bill Kisu was reaching out to me, Ms. Tab, are we going to still do Spirit Week? So when we thought about Spirit Week winners, she immediately came to my mind because she has put Spirit at the forefront of her campaign throughout the year. So I couldn't think of anyone else more worthy of showing school spirit, regardless of the situation. And we continued our Spirit Week celebrations. And she was the leader in orchestrating that whole thing. So again, my one pick for Spirit Week Spirit winner this year is Bilkisu Abdullah. And I don't know, would you like to just say a few words there, Bilkisu?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone on the school board and at Woodland Hills. You guys, I've been in the district since 1st grade, and it's crazy to me that I'm gonna be an alumni. That like blows my mind. But I truly couldn't have gotten to where I am today without the support from everybody. And you know, what everybody says about Woodland Hills is true. It truly is a second home to me. And so I just want to say thank you to Miss Tab, who has helped me get here, and to everybody else who has supported me along the way.
Okay, well, thank you. You deserve it. Okay, and then our next recipient is Jason Allen. Again, he is definitely leaving his mark. He has been an active member in our school musicals throughout his college career. He has been a member of FBLA, and I forgot to mention both he and Bill Kisu represented Woodland Hills at the Junior Achievement Student of Spirit of Excellence Gala for the past 2 years. They represented us and they were student speakers there. Jason, who never disappointed me this year, as we continued our morning announcements virtually, Jason was one of our student speakers who religiously every Wednesday or Thursday morning, whichever we decided on, would show up. And there were many times that his fellow classmates kind of left him hanging solo, but he never gave up, and he continued to make sure that those announcements occurred, to keep with the spirit of Woodland Hills and keep our tradition alive. So I wanted to just really recognize him for, making his commitment to, making sure that those announcements continued at, something that should be recognized. What a great student. It's been a pleasure having him in class. He also was one of my AP Econ students, and I know he had a lot on his plate this year, and he with that Wolverine pride, he held it together, and here we are. So congratulations, Jason. You definitely deserve to be recognized. Jason, would you like to add a few things?
I think Jason texted me and he's in the car right now, so he's having trouble with audio, but he wanted me to extend the thank you to you guys as well.
Thank you, Ms. Tab. Thank you, Dr. Wood. Dr. Wood, you're muted.
I'm sorry. Bill Kisu and Jason, I will have a $25 gift card for you next time you're at the school, and also a Spirit Award certificate that you can proudly hang in your dorm room as you move forward. So thank everyone for this opportunity. Appreciate the support of the board. Appreciate the support of Central Administration as we do the best we can for our students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Woods. Thank you, Ms. Tab. Thank you, Bilkisu and Jason, for being here and for all that you've done in your Woodland Hills careers. I've said this to Bilkisu before on meetings when she's been with us, which has been a number of times, and we appreciate that. But don't be strangers. Come back and tell us how you're doing. We're looking forward to hearing all the great things that are in the future for you. And you know, we hope you'll reach back and help to lift others up as you move forward as well. Yeah, so congratulations again, best wishes, and thank you very much. We'll see you at graduation next week. So thank you all. And that moves us to our second presentation, which is Kelly Patterson from Nutrition. Good evening, Ms. Patterson. Thank you for being here.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me a little bit of time to talk with you about food service. And might I say, that's an extremely tough act to follow. How impressive are those students? That's amazing. Congratulations to the district and the students and every great thing that they're working on right now. So that's awesome. So I wanted to talk with you a little bit about food service this year, as well as your budget for next year. So I'm just going to share my screen with you. And just double checking, you guys can see the presentation.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, great. So as we all know, on March 13th, 2020, everything changed. Schools were closed. We knew that the kids still needed nutritious food, and your staff at Woodland Hills, the cafeteria department, answered that call, not only in the cafeteria department, but the administrative team, helping with communication and getting the word out to everybody. So between March 13th of 2020 and March of 2021, almost 500,000 meals were served to the students in your community. And that was only while your district was closed. So while they weren't learning in person, we were still reaching out, still making sure that families had the food that they needed. The appreciation and communication from the families that would come through and drive through and pick up at the locations, it was touching. And we were so happy to be part of being able to provide those meals to the community. What a blessing. We were really privileged to be able to participate in that. So congrats to getting almost 500,000 meals out while school was closed. To look at your financial report for 2021, so budgeted through April, through the end of April, your revenue should be, you know, around $1,689,000, expenses around $1,662,000. So your P&L, your profit and loss for that cafeteria account should be somewhere around $27,000 to the good. Your actual through April, we can see that revenue is down. Obviously, we're serving less meals than we would serve if we were in person for the full year, as well as, you know, there's no a la carte sales and things like that if we were serving in person for the full year. But your expenses are significantly down as well. So in the long run, through April, you guys are doing pretty good. Your bottom line is actually at $253,000 as a return in the food service fund. So while it did present some struggles with making sure we could get food to everybody, you know, it worked out that financially it's helping. Being able to package dinners in with the food when the families would come to pick up meals, they would pick up 7 breakfasts, 7 lunches, and 7 dinners. Those were some opportunities that we didn't have in the past, but due to the waivers, we were able to take care of, you know, their weekend meals and dinner for everybody as well. And the latest addition, which I know the families are really enjoying, is making sure that we're utilizing those fresh fruit and vegetable dollars to send fresh produce packages home with them as well when they come to pick up their meals. So financially for 2021, everything's going, very well for the food service department. So if we look at your 21-22 budget, I'm sure that you guys have spoken about budgets, probably endlessly at this time of the year. And we know that trying to predict what will happen next year, not only financially, educationally, with COVID, with supply chain issues, it's like shooting an arrow in a dark room. It's nearly impossible to be able to pinpoint, truly what will happen. So we have some considerations for your 21-22 budget that we had to take into account as we prepared it. Food, paper, and cleaning supplies. Anyone who goes to the grocery store can see that food costs are up. Personal protective equipment. We watched the gloves that we use to prepare food this year go from $16 a case to $83 a case, and hard to get at times. There's an increasing fuel costs. There are truck driver shortages. Manufacturers and demand are struggling. I've worked in school food service with nutrition for 20 years now, and it's never been this difficult to ensure that we have the food and the items that we need to serve the students. The manufacturers are suffering with not having enough staffing. We don't have, the drivers to bring the food to the schools. So all of that is creating an increased cost. So for example, we generally project about a 5% increase in food costs each year from where you're currently running. Your budget for 21-22 includes a 6% increase. Paper and cleaning supplies generally include a 5% increase. 21-22 budget includes an 8% increase. So there are some costs associated with, what's going on in the world right now that are affecting your 21-22 budget. We also have some fixed costs with, less projected meals in your budget. You'll see that breakdown in just a little bit. Service models, hard to predict. We hope that everyone's back, 5 days a week and everything's normal, as I'm sure you guys would like to have the same, but it's unpredictable. We're unsure of what could happen next year. There's a reimbursement rate increase that will definitely happen. The state and federal government have not let us know what that will be yet. USDA commodity delivery charges will dramatically increase for the 21-22 school year. While commodity food items are free to the district, there is a delivery fee associated with getting them there. It's under a state contract. Endler's Poultry was the company that had the contract for the last 5 years. They did not bid again. They were delivering your commodities at $3.50 a case. And the company that won the contract this year with the state for your area won it at $5.24 a case. It's a 50% increase in that delivery. So that has affected the 21-22 budget for the delivery charges. As we see students come back to school, we have a reduction in the virtual meals. We've seen that kind of across the board, that when COVID first happened, there were a lot of families participating in picking up the virtual meals, and then it started to die off a little bit. So we want to make sure that we continue throughout the summer as well as into the next school year to make sure that we are still providing that service for any student who chooses, to learn remotely. There's also potential that you will be able to receive a higher reimbursement rate next year, that you will be able to receive the summer food service reimbursement rate versus the national school lunch reimbursement rate. There was a memo that came out from the USDA that alluded to that, but Pennsylvania has not confirmed that that's what will happen for 21-22. So your budget is written without it. It's written with your normal national school lunch rate reimbursement rates, but we'll talk about the revenue that potential higher rate could mean for you. So financially, what does this mean? When we wrote the budget, we projected that maybe 100 more students than usual would stay virtual. Therefore, we pulled them out of the budget, that they wouldn't be, in the buildings, coming through the lunch lines and the breakfast lines. It's about $50,000 over the course of the year in revenue. USDA received credits. So when we receive USDA commodity foods, nutrition automatically credits your invoice every month, the value of those donated commodities. The state has us budget at a specific number. It's the number that they project. And for example, this year, in 2021, that number's 23.5 cents, I believe, or 24 cents per meal. However, we do a really good job at making sure we're utilizing as much of the USDA commodities as we possibly can. So for 2021, you guys are currently sitting at about 66 cents per meal of commodity credit, which means your credit is, much higher than, what the state would have us budget. Since we can't shift that budget number in your paperwork, they only let it be that number they specify, you could probably expect to receive about $35,000 in additional credit on your invoices for the 21-22 school year. The potential higher summer food service program rate that I spoke about could bring you over $300,000 in additional revenue with no additional expense. That's based on solely serving the meals that I wrote in the budget. It's just the difference in the reimbursement rates. So we are eagerly awaiting PDE to let us know if that's truly what will happen in the coming year. And we're hoping, obviously, that will happen and that revenue goes straight to your food service fund. So we could see a potential revenue change for next year of about $385,000 just based on these 3 bullet points of things that will, more than likely happen. If we look at the participation that we budgeted, you can see for 2021, we budgeted, just under 1,900 breakfasts a day and lunches, 2,400 lunches a day. That was written without COVID in mind. When the 2021 budget was written, COVID hadn't entered our world yet. So for the 21-22 budget, we kind of went back to the drawing board and we looked at our most current non-COVID data, which was 19-20 school year. And we budgeted the participation percent against your projected enrollment. So in 19-20, 57% of your students ate breakfast and 74% of your students ate lunch. So we took your projected enrollment for next year minus those virtual students. And that's where we came up with your participation numbers. We didn't want to base it off of this year. You can see that center column when we average out the pickup meals and everything throughout the school days, it's a much lower number, which would not do your budget any justice for next school year. So we decided to go ahead and go back to what we knew and budget that way. You will see that your a la carte sales are decreased a little bit from the previous budget. We were uncertain of everybody's financial situations, not sure if parents will have the funds. They may have been affected with COVID, with job loss and things like that, to send with their students. So we did take a 20% reduction off of what we think the a la carte sales will be per day throughout the district if we have a 5-day-a-week in-person learning. So those are the numbers that we use to create your budget. So that boils down to this comparison. We can see, the revenue and expenses for 2021 and what your bottom line guarantee was, which was a $71,653 return for your food service program. 21-22, due to those uncertainties, due to the decrease in participation with, a little bit less students, higher food costs and different things, it is actually returning a $52,000 loss. But if we remember, there's the potential for $385,000 in revenue to come to your bottom line. It's just not items that I could write into the budget and promise because I don't have all of that information yet. So that's why your 21-22 budget is written, that way. It's extremely conservative. We wanted to be very responsible in the information that we provided and give you a realistic picture of, if the things go wrong, if we just don't have the students, we don't have the a la carte participation and the expenses continue the way that, they could, this is what your food service fund may experience next year. We will certainly do everything in our power to not have it experience that next year. On the positive side, if you remember where we were sitting through April this year, you're well ahead of that $71,000 for this year. You're $250,000 to the good, right now. So if we do experience a loss next year, this year will certainly have kind of provided a little bit of a cushion to absorb some of that in the food service fund. any questions about the budgetary numbers? And I can't see you guys, so you'll have to let me know.
I can help with that, Ms. Patterson. Board members, any questions? I'm not hearing any.
Okay. Oops. That's all the information that I had for you, unless there were any additional questions about the current program. I can't thank the administrative staff and Ms. Nicolau enough for continuing the communication to the families, the robocalls, helping us decide where we should be, trying different locations. What do we need to do? Where are the families? Where are the biggest bus stops? Do we need to go to those areas? So I really do appreciate the support we've received from the district in making it successful to get the food to the families. I really do.
And I think we would be remiss if we didn't say thank you to you and your staff. The nutrition staff has been phenomenal throughout the last 15 months. Really, really just dedicated, and they were working when no one else was. And I think they were asked to come in at a time when it was really scary to do that. And they were asked to do work at a time when we were finding ways for people to work from home. They couldn't do that. They didn't have that option. And I think we need to acknowledge that continuously and say thank you to them as well for all that they've done in this very difficult time. So thank you. And I hope you'll pass that on.
I will. They'll really appreciate that, and I'll let them know.
Thank you. I would also ask if you'd be so kind as to share your slides with us so we could have those numbers to review
Sure.
outside the meeting. I would appreciate that as well. So.
Sure. And then in your board docs, I believe you have the whole full budget broken down that gives you a lot more detail to those expenses and things.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay, last chance. Any board members have questions for Ms. Patterson? Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, that moves us to registered speakers, although I think we have none. Is that correct, Ms. Hawthorne?
That's correct.
Excellent. Okay, before we move into board matters, I want to do a little bit of business. Mr. Belmont, are you available? Are you able to confirm that you can hear us and communicate?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you kindly. That being the case, Mr. Harris, we will move to board matters.
Okay, here we go. Board Matters 2.1, third and final reading of policy 004B0G-7, oath of office certificate update.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Curry. Questions or discussion on this policy? Okay. Hearing none, let's take the vote.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 2.2.
Okay, Board Matters 2.2, third and final reading of policy 137.1, extracurricular participation by home education students.
Is there a motion?
Hey, Jamie, can I move to make a motion to vote on tonight's items by a consent agenda?
You certainly can.
I'll second that.
There's a second from Mr. Belmont. So that would, the motion on the floor is to move all the items with the exception of 2.1, which has already been considered, 3.1, which was considered last week, 4.1, which was considered last week, as a consent item. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that question? Mr.
Jamie, also, are there any that we're going to table?
No, I believe
Were
that,
they-
I believe there is one motion that would be tabled, so I will also exclude 13.1 from the consent agenda.
Okay,
Um,
and we removed 13.3, correct?
We did, and 13.2 as well.
Okay, all right, thank you.
There is no 13.2 or 13.3 for this month.
Okay.
Okay, so reviewing, the motion on the floor is a motion to consider all items on the agenda with the exception of 2.1, 3.1, 4.1, and 13.1 as a consent item. Any discussion of that? We can move to a consent by voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Hearing no opposition to the consent item, we will now consider the bulk of the agenda by consent. Is there a motion on the consent item?
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Mr.
Second.
Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions or discussions on any item in that consent vote? Hearing none. Ms. Hawthorne, will you call the roll?
Ms. Seligson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry, yes, Dr. Hildebrand,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. That moves us to 13.1. Mr. Harris?
There we go. Legal matters. 13.1. Motion to approve exoneration of school taxes on lot 372-M-250 in Wilkins Township, presently owned by Lawson Realty Company per a petition in substantially the same form as attached.
We have a request from the solicitor to table this. Is there a motion to table?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
By Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Scott. Any questions or discussion on the motion to table? Okay, hearing none. This can again be by voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Hearing no opposition, 13.1 is tabled. That moves us to old business. Is there any old business? Okay, hearing none. We do have one item of new business. This is the item that Mr. Finney asked that we add last week regarding surplus of equipment. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions or discussion on this motion?
What's the plan to get rid of it? Do we have to have someone come and take it? Are we going to try to have people? Last time we tried to sort of have a giveaway, that was a bit of a fiasco.
Mr. Finney?
Donate it.
What we're doing is anything that's not feasible to keep, like broken chairs or ripped couches and desks that are falling apart, file cabinets that are all rusted out and stuff like that, we're disposing of. And then anything that's it's somewhat of a value, we will be holding it at the intermediate school. Just like we have Rankin. Rankin's all organized with stuff. And then as soon as we get situated and organized, then we can discuss moving forward how we're gonna get some of the somewhat good furniture and stuff like that out to our community, whether it's donations or whether we're gonna sell the items.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions on 17.1? Okay. Hearing none, Ms. Hawthorne, will you call the roll or take the vote? If you're prepared to vote electronically, we can do that as well.
Okay, yes, I'm gonna open the electronic voting.
Thank you much.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to reports. We gave our committee reports last week, so we will not reiterate those this week, but I will remind everyone that we have our June committee meetings immediately following Memorial Day on June 1st and 2nd. And we invite and welcome all community members to participate in those meetings. They are generally very good conversation, and we certainly encourage the ideas that come from the community at those meetings. So please plan to attend. Exciting topics will be there for sure. So that moves us to public comment.
I do have one thing.
I'm sorry, Mr. Harris?
Tonight, I would like to welcome Coach Wilson to the
Oh.
Woodland Hills family. He's on. I just asked him to unmute. He's our newest basketball coach.
Oh, excellent. Thank
Just
you.
wanted to say hi. We went through everything so fast. I was trying to get him on. But he's on. So Coach Wilson, I can call you Coach now.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Thank you for being here, Coach. Welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. If I could just take one minute of everyone's time and just really would just like to thank the board, Principal Woods, Ron Coursey, for the process. I would like to thank you all for entrusting me to lead this program. I look forward to working with not just the students, but I look forward to working with the parents, staff, teachers, and community folk alike. Very excited about reestablishing a jolt and putting a jolt back into the Wolverine athletics, and helping establish a culture that will last and be beneficial for all of the student athletes for their growth and their future. So I thank you. I'm very, very excited. This was a dream job for me, actually. I've been looking at this job for some years. It kind of worked out. So I'm very, very excited. Hope to see you all at some of the games and hope to speak to you all very, very soon in person. Thank you again.
Thanks, Coach.
Wilson, thank you for being here. Coach, we look forward to the success and the program that you'll build. So we are anxious to see what you can do. So thank you very much for being part of the process, and we're happy to see this dream come true for you. So
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Anything else, Mr. Harris, before I move along too quickly again? Okay.
That's all I have.
Very good. Thank you all. Okay, that moves us to public comment. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board at this time? If so, please use the raise hand function in your Zoom app and indicate as such. Okay, seeing no raised hands, I will move to section 20, Mr. Harris.
Okay, section 20.1, we seek permission to adjourn the May 19th, 2021 legislative meeting.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Scott, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
opposed? Hearing no opposition. Thank you all very much. We will see you at committees on June 1st and 2nd. Have a great evening, everybody.
See you at graduation.
Thank you.
Graduation.
Good night.
Good night.
Take care.